In a modest village nestled in the heart of Nigeria, there was a family with a firstborn son named Chuka. Born into humble beginnings, Chuka was always the obedient and responsible child. From an early age, he understood the weight of his family's expectations. His parents, hard-working and devoted, hoped that one day he would bring honor and prosperity to their name. However, life had a different plan. Chuka's parents were struggling financially, and no matter how hard they worked, the money seemed to slip through their fingers like sand. Chuka, being the eldest, bore the responsibility of helping out with the younger siblings, despite not having much himself. As the years passed, Chuka's younger siblings began to resent him. They saw him as a failure, someone who couldn't provide the wealth and success they craved. The younger siblings, Emeka and Ngozi, often taunted him for his lack of financial success. They would mock him for not having the flashy clothes, the new shoes, or the latest gadgets. What use is an elder brother if he can't even help himself? They would say, their voices dripping with disdain. Chuka, though deeply hurt, kept his head down and continued to do his best. His only solace came from his parents, who, despite their own struggles, supported him. They often told him that his worth was not determined by wealth but by his character. This was a message he carried in his heart, even as his siblings' insults continued. The years rolled by, and while Emeka and Ngozi were busy chasing material wealth, Chuka focused on building his future, patiently studying and learning new skills. He took odd jobs in the village and helped anyone who needed assistance, no matter how small. His heart was pure, and his desire to help others was genuine. Yet, the more he did for the community, the more his siblings looked down on him, convinced that he was simply wasting his time. One day, after many years of struggle, a wealthy businessman from the city visited the village. He was searching for a young man with the skills and character to manage his growing business empire. Chuka, with his experience and knowledge of the village, was recommended to the businessman. After a brief interview, the businessman saw something in Chuka that others had failed to notice, a rare quality of integrity, intelligence, and dedication. He offered Chuka a job that would change his life forever. Chuka moved to the city, where he quickly proved himself, working tirelessly and smartly. As the years passed, his hard work paid off, and he became a key player in the businessman's empire. He had a steady income, a house, and all the luxuries he had once dreamed of. But he never forgot where he came from. His heart remained humble, and he often sent money back home to his parents and the village, always eager to help where he could. Meanwhile, Emeka and Ngozi, who had grown up chasing wealth through shortcuts and superficial means, found themselves facing the harsh realities of life. Emeka, always trying to impress others with his flashy lifestyle, soon fell into debt. His money ran out, and the promises of easy wealth vanished. Ngozi, too, found herself trapped in a cycle of bad investments and poor decisions, and she struggled to maintain the lifestyle she had once boasted about. Years passed, and the siblings who once mocked Chuka now found themselves in a dire situation. They were broke, struggling, and isolated. Emeka lost his job, and Ngozi's failed business ventures had left her penniless. Desperation crept in, and they both knew they needed help. It was then that they thought of Chuka, the brother they had once belittled. One cold evening, Emeka and Ngozi decided to swallow their pride. They traveled to the city to seek out the brother. Chuka, now living comfortably, was a far cry from the young man they had once belittled. When they arrived at his doorstep, they stood there, unsure of how to approach him. The weight of their past actions hung heavily on their hearts. When Chuka saw them standing there, his initial reaction was one of surprise and a touch of anger. But as he looked at their worn faces, he saw the same siblings who had once laughed at him. The years of bitterness, hurt, and resentment quickly faded from his heart. He knew what it felt like to be in need, and despite the years of insults, he still loved them. "I never expected to see you both here," Chuka said quietly, his voice calm. "But I see that times have been hard for you." Emeka and Ngozi stood in silence, their heads bowed. Emeka was the first to speak, his voice trembling. "Chuka, we were wrong. We hurt you, and we mocked you for not having money. We were foolish and prideful. But now, we need your help." Ngozi nodded, tears welling up in her eyes. "We've lost everything, Chuka. We're sorry for how we treated you. Please, can you help us?" Chuka stood there for a moment, his heart conflicted. It was painful to remember the years of insults and rejection. But deep down, he knew that his own journey had taught him the value of forgiveness and compassion. He invited them into his home, offering them a seat. "I never held your words against you," Chuka said, his tone gentle but firm. "I've learned that wealth and success are not just about money. They are about character, and what you choose to do with your life. I won't hold your mistakes against you, but I want you to understand that this is a lesson for all of us. We are all shaped by our choices." Emeka and Ngozi listened carefully, realizing the depth of their brother's wisdom. They had once thought Chuka weak for not chasing wealth, but now they saw the strength in his character. He had persevered, remained true to his values, and now he stood as a beacon of success, not because of money, but because of his integrity and heart. After the conversation, Chuka helped them find work, not with handouts, but by guiding them in making better decisions and teaching them the value of hard work and perseverance. Slowly, Emeka and Ngozi rebuilt their lives, learning from the past mistakes. They never forgot the lesson Chuka had taught them, the importance of kindness, humility, and the true meaning of wealth. Years later, as they sat together, now adults who had learned the true meaning of family and success, Emeka looked at Chuka with gratitude. "I never imagined that you would be the one to save us," he said, his voice filled with humility. "We were wrong, but you never gave up on us. Thank you. Chuka smiled, his eyes filled with a quiet wisdom. It's not about saving each other. It's about helping each other grow. We all have our own paths, but we are stronger when we walk together.